Hello and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole new tea. Hello. And today is a sad day, but a day that we need to remember and respect. A lot of people in our country have voted against respecting those that are different from themselves. Some voted more for their wallet and money other than empathy, understanding, and the right of humanity. Many want to change the writing in our books, our history books. They want to ban stories that they're scared their children are going to read because then it's going to dare open their eyes to people different from themselves. And they don't want that. They want the ignorance to dive deeper into their minds. And they want to make sure that certain parts of our history are ignored or erased. The Holocaust did happen. And I don't know why so many now are even doing that salute. And we know who they voted for. Like, how do you say that you voted for 47 without saying you voted for 47? You do that salute on social media for everyone to see. And you even put your child in it. There's some atrocious, awful, vile, ugly. And it's crazy how anybody can have a baby. And the billionaires want us to make more babies so we can work for them, help them make more money. They don't care about our livelihood. They just care that they have employees. Because we also have to remember how with even South Park mocked them and mentioned it on one of their episodes of how people kept passing away at Amazon. But yeah, our country is, and I want to thank all the countries around the world for protesting. They're not showing it on TV. I'm finding out because of other social networks. I'm finding out because of other websites and things. And I just have to say thank you. Because you see the racism, the hatred, the sexism. Some may see the ableism because I'm kind of wondering when is it. I have a feeling it might hit the disability community soon. And I don't know when. I don't know. I need to reread. I need to go through the 2025 again. That project that everyone was like, oh, they're not doing it. You're so, people literally calling me the R word and calling me stupid for thinking that it was actually going to be like done. And some people saying 47 would never do this. He's such an amazing man. He's a Christian man. He would never do. Yeah, you're a Christian too, but you've shown your bigotry. I just did an episode a few weeks ago about how if Jesus walked this earth right now, he would be a liberal. I'm not saying he would agree with everything liberal, because I know some people dislike that video, but I don't I think they were so insulted that I would dare say that because either they're a Christian and Republican, because I hear so many Republican people tell me, if you're Christian, that means you're Republican. And when I say no, that I am a Christian, but a Democrat, yeah, some of them are even the ones that call me the R word and stupid and idiot and things. But on this day, we have to remember the history of a group of people who had to hide, a group of people who they came to this land, or they lived. It's And I don't even know how to phrase it because, yes, I'm not a part of that community. And there are times where I don't agree with certain points with that community, but I have empathy for humanity. I have understanding for, like, you as a person. I believe all humanity deserves human rights, clean water, shelter, food, and everything in order to be, like, sustainable. And now that we look at what's going on in our own country, we're repeating history by now. Different demographic, different race, but race or nationality, but now many of them are hiding because just like a Coca-Cola, you gotta dump a lot of ice to make it cold, and this country is very cold right now. This country has just shown how cold and frozen our heart is. And it's embarrassing because my heart isn't that cold. I I feel like we need to do some changes for immigration, but in order to allow them to stay and to have be in peace of mind. Because now it's like I keep hearing Republicans or even the Fox News people try to say who's a man and who built this country, and it's like they keep trying to uplift European American men, but because they keep saying men invented, men built, men this, men that, and European, we did this, we did that. Yet, like, not well. First, this is stolen land, and it's crazy now that you're trying to rip people out of this country when they just want freedom. They want their mind to be at ease. And I just kind of feel if when a person agrees with the hate group, when you vote the same way as the hate groups, that shows me a lot about you. And when you say history wrong, incorrectly, in such a naive way, do you know how many of the men on dating apps write me because in my profiles, I say I do not date Republican, MAGA, or 47 loving men? No. But then they turn around. Democrats are the ones that own slaves. They're the ones that, do you know when the party switched? And it's like there was this one rebel or YouTube rebel person, or TYT rebel person, who they were interviewing people, and it's like they just brought up so many great and amazing points because they kept, like, the MAGA kept blaming liberals and progressives for things. But then the interviewer was like, then how come Democrats are the ones trying to knock down the hateful monuments or the Confederate monuments? How come they're trying to rename bases and things that are named after, like the Confederacy and things like that? How come they don't hang their flags with a Confederate? How come MAGA are the ones that hang Confederate flags? How come the hate groups vote with Confederate flags hanging? MAGA and Confederate they're like besties. They're the ones out here cheering on ICE and we're literally repeating history. We have people hiding. And one day we might end up with books from some of the people who either got deported or they were hiding while they try to figure out how to stay in this country legally. And and that's the other thing. Some people were doing it the legal way, but right when 47 became president, he cut it, like cut the rope of it, and said anyone after this time, after I came in, do not allow them in. Do not allow them to have their court case. Do not allow them their chance. So it's kind of like it's unfair if you do, unfair if you don't. And then there's with the Constitution, the birthright, they want to change that too. But then I'm kind of wondering, are they going to be looking up any of the European Americans that were born here but their parents are immigrants? And also the illegal immigrants from European countries. Are you going to, like, I'm not suggesting, but I'm just like, if you're going to be fair, be fair. But if you're going to be based off race, that's racism. And then even the ban on Muslims, racism. It's like, and I just heard about it like a day ago. And I'm not surprised. And because I was even the one that told my father and a couple of my friends, I was like, when he gets in office, he's bringing it back. And people are like, no, he's not. No, it's like everyone's against it. No, he's not. No one believes the black woman, especially no one believes the black woman with a disability. It's like my ex, Mr. No Heart, never believed me, especially politically. Sometimes I would say certain things, especially about when 45 was going up. And I was saying that's dangerous. And people forget my MBA is in marketing. I paid close attention to what he was doing, how he was doing it, and how the people that were cheering him on and marketing him, how he was uplifting and separating and like doing division and things in a way to the point where people started praising him. I saw these patterns, but everyone kept telling, like, my ex even mocked me. He laughed at me. He put me down and everything. But then it was crazy because when his ex-wife told his daughters, once 45 becomes president, I'm going to buy, I'll repeat, I'm going to buy your boyfriend's girlfriend and I'm going to whip her until she's dead. I will never forget that day because his oldest daughter was crying so hard, so bad, I had to calm her down. I didn't know what she said. Yeah, at first I had to calm her down because she was crying. And he didn't even know because she was crying for hours. She was crying for hours. But this is the country that you voted for. Some people are now quote unquote regretting. But the thing is, some people voted because they were just like, oh, he's just going to make it a nightmare for black people. We don't care. We're not black. He's just going to take rights from black people. I have had people of color even tell me that once Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, Rosa Parks, and everyone, all the greats, made this country the way it is and it made it safer for them, that's when their parents decided to come over. They were waiting because it was not safe until then. But then once it became safe for them, they decided to backstab us. They decided to do us wrong. They decided to treat us like dirt because our ancestors did the hard work. So now they're going to make sure they keep us where we like they don't want us to be uplifted. They don't want us to have our fair chance. We did the work. So they're going to come over and now they're going to take the side of the people who we had to fight for our rights for. And then they're going to take away the rights to punish us because Asian Americans did it with the college acceptance and everything. But now they're regretting it. Some of them are regretting it. Yeah, oops. And then even with the Middle Eastern countries, like because I've had, oh yeah, I've dated a few, and some of the things that they would say, but even with the war and stuff, oh well, it's like Biden's not doing what we want him to do, and Kamala says she's not going to change anything, so it's like it's better not to vote because they're going to both be the same. It doesn't really matter. And now, look at what many of them are saying. And then the Hispanic community. Well, black on black crime anyway, because yeah, I literally had someone of Hispanic descent try to tell me it's black on black crime. It's your fault anyway. You guys just have to get it together. And it's like it's like we come to this country and we're making it better and we're doing exactly what 45 wants us to do. And we're doing it's just to a point where, all right. But after he starts doing the deportations. I guess who's coming back now? We didn't know he was going to do this. We didn't know, even though he kept bragging about it. In between calling Kamala stupid and an idiot and saying that she was going to go back to her pimps and calling Puerto Rico a garbage dump and etc. It's like calling Africa an S-hole country. Calling Colin Kaepernick and other African Americans out of their names when they're fighting for the justice because of the mistreatment of police. But then you guys want to go Blue Lives Matter. But then when you go against the Capitol Police and then they actually have like some kind of plaque thing to hang on the wall in memory of what happened on that day with the list of the police officers that lost their lives on that day or because of that day. Republicans refuse to hang it. Why do you refuse to hang it? That's a part of our history. And then 47, not wanting to refuse to teach about our Tuskegee Airmen. It's like no one's seeing the racism. So many people, because I mean, I will never forget the student that I had. One of my last classes, he told me racism is over with. So when are you going to get over it? And he talked like and he's the same person who kept calling me Professor Cripple. He called me other names, but I will never forget that because it's just like, you have the nerve to come in this classroom and call me out a name. I do as much as I can to put knowledge in your brains to make sure that you are more prepared than I was when it was time to start going for jobs. And I try to make sure that I open up your creativity palette because since you guys grew up with cell phones, you know how to look stuff up, but you don't know how to be creative. You don't know how to open your gate when it comes to what are my ideas and how can I formulate A, B, and C. But it's just amazing because that same student, he's a person of color. And let's just say one of the items that 47 just put it's going to affect some of his family. So I kind of wonder, am I still Professor Cripple? And even back to my ex, when he even mocked me, laughed at me, and I overheard him telling his roommate that I was stupid for being nervous about 47, or but back then 45, like running, and like his crowd was growing, his fan base was growing, the brainwashing was expanding. He literally, like, I overheard him and he jumped. And later that night he was apologizing. I was just kidding. I was, no, you weren't. No, you were not. But then till this day, he blames me for the breakup, and it's just like, I'm gonna have the I'm gonna have the series of the 40 reasons I broke up with him soon. I already have tons of episodes on it, so, but if you're gonna call me stupid, but then you're the one that dropped out of college, but then your mom had the just the stupidity, the naiveness to say, I only got in because I'm black. But then you, like, you dropped out. You didn't go back. You didn't finish. And then her telling me why each one of her children ended up in jail. But then she told me it was my turn. And I was like, my turn with what? She told me I had to tell her why myself and my siblings ended up in jail. And I was like, none of us have been in jail. Do you know how upset she was? She just got so irritated with me. Racism. Racism. And today is a hard time because after Elon Musk did what he did, and then there's even Republicans saying, if you're stupid enough to think that he did what you think he did, you're not allowed an opinion. You shouldn't be talking about politics. You shouldn't be. And then 47 followers are repeating the move. Like, if you know the history of it, and at that same time, a lot of people are saying it's because Elon has a disability. I have a disability. I would never do that. Different disability, but I have a disability and I would never do that. A lot of people out here with disabilities, their disabilities would never make them do that. And then he did it 2 times. 2 times. They said it was because he was so excited. No, it wasn't. But then, if it's because he had a disability, why are so many of 47's followers doing it? They don't, okay, I'll say majority of them don't have a disability. Especially that one mom who put her son on there. Oh, if she does, okay, like, it's not because of her disability. I know that. And it's disgusting that they're trying to say it's because he has autism, he has a disability, he's excited, he's this, he's that, he's the richest man in the world, he can do what he wants. It's not political. It's not because But then they keep calling us idiots, they keep calling us dumb, they keep calling us the R word and so many other things. But then a lot of these same people end up going to church, sitting in the front row, saying amen and hallelujah. But then they go out and they're like, yeah, deport these people. Oh, yeah, it's like, take these people's rights away. Yeah, stop teaching African American history. We don't care about that history. It's going to hurt my child's feelings because I know that we had Jim Crow. I know we had slavery. I know we had the dogs biting and like hurting people. I know we burned Black Wall Street. I know we did like so many other things, and I don't want to hurt my baby's feelings. I want them to only think of us as heroes while we deport people, while we deny people the right to have a job. Because, yeah, some people are like, oh no, it's going to be based off your merit in your hard work. I will share like I've already been typing stories on LinkedIn and everything. Try to tell me that a woman that's Black with a disability, you have not been to my job interviews. You have not witnessed the ableism and the racism that I have had to face over and over and over again. This country is swimming in fascism, ice cold fascism. We've got so many racist, bigot, facet, non-educated, naive imbeciles walking around this country, and they're proud of it. Because again, a lot of them are the ones telling us that we don't know about the Democratic Party. And then it's like, look at my Patreon, because it's really crazy how one of, like, well, a few, but one specifically, a guy that wrote me on the dating app, he had the nerve to say, Biden told you to vote for him because you're Black. Well, have you heard what 47 said about Black Lives Matter? And again, Africa, like so many of the other things. Have you, like, even with the percentage of Black people that get business loans, and how much harder it is for us to get a mortgage, and then just so many other things, we are still deprived. We still have to fight with all of our might in order to get things. We don't have a fair shot still. You guys want to pretend we do, but we don't. Because like I said in another video, it's like I worked my tush off for my degrees. I work hard for everything I have. But I am still looked at as other. They still don't want anything to do with me. They still make an excuse to not hire me. And it's pathetic. Because then they'll turn around and say, it's because you're overqualified. Oh, it's because, well, maybe we want someone with experience in another area, but then they get someone who they don't have the experience, and they don't even have a college degree. I remember going to a job interview where it was required to have a college degree. I think I had both my masters at the time, one or both. But then the person they hired, it's like I remember we were both in the waiting room and we exchanged information because we had some stuff in common. But then a week or two later, they let me know that they got the job. But I know for a fact, like, they told me that they dropped out of college and they only took one or two classes, but they realized it wasn't for them. Yeah, but DEI, yeah, I'll talk more about that next time. Thank you for listening to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. I am a woman, I am of color, and I am handicapable. But most importantly, I am human, and you're human too.